dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, a series where we look at cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2012 Ford Fiesta Mark 7 1.4 Zetec. It was Britain's most popular car when this was sold new, but is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Mark 7 Ford Fiesta, which is actually the 6th generation of Fiesta. I know it's a bit confusing, there are reasons for the numbering in this country. It was launched in 2008. Facelift occurred in around 2012-13, that sort of time. This is a pre-facelift one, and it was very popular in this country. They're still very popular and very well regarded cars, actually. These basic engine in this was at launch a 1.25 litre Zetec SE engine, which generated 59 horsepower. Not particularly exciting then. Much better is the 81 brake horsepower version of the same engine, which yes, I have driven. I've sourced a car with that particular engine before for a client. It was 2014 actually. It was very good back in the days when, you know, it was 2021 and you could pick up a 14 plate Fiesta with average mileage for £5,000, which seems like an absolute pipe dream today. This particular car, it has done 35,000 miles, and it's a 2012. Popular specification, this is the Zetec model, and most of the ones really that you can find on average are Zetec, but more likely to do anything else. Other engines available were a 1.6, it was only available with automatic transmission, called the Power Shift. I would not recommend going for a Power Shift gearbox in your Fiesta. I would completely avoid it. That generated 103 horsepower. There are also two other variants of that 1.6 non-turbo engine in cars like the S1600 and also the Metal edition, 118 horsepower and 132 horsepower. There's also 1.6 turbo in the Fiesta ST hot hatch, which generated either 179 horsepower or the ST200, 197 horsepower. Then we get on to the later engines, and there's quite a few of these actually. Starting off with a 78 brake horsepower non-turbo 1 litre, then 98 brake horsepower turbo 1 litre, and the really powerful ones are 123 horsepower, and then right at the top 138 brake horsepower. I would buy an EcoBoost or EcoBoom engine, as I call them, with real caution. They have a lot of problems, huge amounts of problems. It's a real shame actually, because the rest of these cars is so good, but those engines have not proven to be reliable. I would, if you can, just avoid those and stick with like the 1.25 81 horsepower, this 1.4 with 94 horsepower if you can at all. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. What we do talk about is the fact that this car's, it's really pleasant to drive. Simon from Langley Prestige in Colchester, yep, they just moved. he has very kindly provided me with his car to drive today, and I really like the way this drives. I've never really thought of the 1.25s as underpowered particularly. A lot of people say that they are. The one you don't want is the 59 brake horsepower 1.25. I would completely avoid that, and that is underpowered. This one though, it's really responsive, it's nice. I mean, we're not talking like absolutely bags and bags of power. We're not talking kind of, you know, Fiesta ST levels of performance in this thing or anything like that, but it's actually really good. I'm quite surprised. I mean, you know, I am a little bit strange in what I consider to be exciting, so maybe that's got something to do with it. But yeah, it's really nice. So yes, 12 registration Fiesta. Maybe in some ways there's not a lot to say. This car is awaiting preparation. There's still paint work to do on it. I know the wheels are a bit scratched. Oh, and there's a train that's gone past as well. Fantastic. Right, yeah, so we've got some scratches and things on here. Wheels are a bit curbed. But this car is done quite low mileage. I think it's like 36,000 or something, which is not a lot for one of these, considering it's well over 10 years old now. Someone's ticked the options list for parking sensors, which is good. Let's have a look at the boot. It'll be a bit messy in here, I think. Yeah, it is. It just needs a good clean, doesn't it? Just lift up here and see if we've got a spare tyre. No, we've got the inflation kit thing. It's one thing to sort of bear in mind. You can easily get one, but not all of them came with a spare wheel. That would be the first thing I would do if I bought one of these, just to fit a spare wheel. Design of this actually is, I think, quite nice. The Mark 8, which replaced this in 2017, so end of 2017, it looks kind of similar to this. And the Cab Plus, which came out in 16, also kind of looks similar, is based on the same platform. Oh, there's the train again. Right, let's get inside and get out of this horrendous wind. Again, it does need a clean in here. It really does, and it will be done. Also needs a headrest on that side. We've only got windy windows in the back here because it's only a Zetec, despite the parking sensors and the alloy wheels. Zetecs was very, very popular back in the day. I suppose they still are. They're like sort of base models now. They weren't the base models at the time. You had things like the Studio and Style and things like that, which were actually a little bit below this, but very popular specification. Air conditioning, electric front windows, optional parking sensors, of course, and the alloy wheels, which is what most people wanted. You even got sort of controls for the stereo on the steering wheel. No door bins, unfortunately, and yeah, it's just normal hard plastic. But I'm trying to think of anything other than an Audi A1 or a Mini in this class that actually had anything other than the hard plastic on top of the rear doors. Yeah, no centre armrest in this one. You do get a rear courtesy light, which is good, and you get mat pockets on the back of both the seats. It's not a guarantee, really. No armrest in the middle, although there are there's a bevy of cup holders in here, loads and loads of cup holders, and there's a USB port there as well, which is good, and an aux in. We'll have a look at that when we get into the front, but yeah, it's not the most commodious in the back of it. It never was. The Cab Plus is actually a bit bigger than that. So if you are choosing between a Mark 7 Fiesta and a Cab Plus, bear in mind the Cab Plus is more spacious than one of these, although they are on the same platform. Right, let's get into the front, shall we? Right. Oh, that wind. It's bane of my life. Right. One thing you'll notice in this very late pre-facelift Mark VII is this tiny little screen. Goodness gracious me, that is small. That is really, really small. Yeah, we haven't got the sat nav or anything in here, viewers, or the Ford Sync system or anything. It's just the most basic screen, but that's fine. I think the average buyer of Fiesta probably isn't that concerned if you're buying a Zetec. 5-speed manual, that's a nice gearbox to use, like a lot of old Ford gearboxes were. Yeah, there's the aux in and the USB, and all the cup holders. I don't know if my secret mission documents are actually going to go in there. They might not actually. I'll have to have a look later. But yeah, the dash is actually quite nice. It's just a soft touch one. Although these controls do look like a very, very old Nokia. You can sort of tell when this car was designed. They came out in 2008. Very clear instruments. The only thing I've noticed in this is you don't get a temperature gauge. I think you get a couple of lights and that's about it, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, it really needs a bit of a cleaning here, I think. There's the stereo controls. If you had cruise control, I think it would be here. Driving position is actually really good. It's a very comfortable driving position. The pedals are exactly where you'd expect them to be. In this model anyway, you can put the seat up and down. Steering wheel actually does adjust. Not for reach though, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind. A lot of other cars were like that at the time. Yeah, light control is sort of really, apart from this sort of fiddly system here, which is actually really simple by standards of modern touchscreens. The interior is quite well sort of thought out. These heater controls are really simple. Door bins are quite big as well. They're surprisingly big, and we've got the good old, I think it's a Mark IV Fiesta mirror switch, which yeah, has been around for a very long time. It's probably an adaptation of that. Did we get the front heated screen in this one? I don't think we have in this particular one. You could get a front heated screen in these. I don't think this car's got it. Not that I can see anyway. Which is oh no, it has. There it is. There's the front heated screen. Fantastic. A lot of people just bought Fiestas for that reason alone back in the day. Right, let's have a look at the engine, shall we? Well, viewers, the famous Zetec SE/Duratec/Sigma engine. 1.4 litres in capacity, this particular one is. And yeah, they're a very good engine in general. Came out in the mid-90s and lasted until I think 2018 was the last one of these sold, which I think was in the Car Plus, like the one that I reviewed last year. These kind of problems with thermostats failing, you also need to make sure that you change the cam belt in these regularly. Otherwise, you know, that can have problems. Otherwise, if you look after them, they're actually a really dependable engine. They're far more dependable than the 1 litre EcoBoom engines, which you know, kind of eventually replaced this 1.4. So yeah, stick for the 1.25 or the 1.6 non-turbo or the 1.4. They are all the sort of same family of engine. And yeah, a lot of you will kind of say as well that actually you've driven lots of cars with this engine in, and you like them. I am one of those people. I like the styling of this. Even though it's just a Zetec, you get the front fog lamps and a little bit of chrome around the grille as well. Facelift ones I think do look better than this, which came a little bit later than this car. But yeah, it's very nice. Anyway, I better stop waffling on now, especially because it's all windy. Let's go for another drive. Disappointing. So it's just a really pleasant car to drive. The manual gearbox, which I would definitely go for a manual Mark VII Fiesta, is really pleasant to use. You get a 6-speed in some of them, but most of them will come with this 5-speed manual gearbox, and it's a really, really pleasant little unit to use. The steering is really nice in this car as well. It's an absolute pleasure. It's ever so kind of precise and feelsome. The ride's really good as well. But Fiesta Mark 7s, like a lot of Fords of this era, they can wear through drop links on the front suspension, and if you do have that, then you'll hear like a sort of pitter-patter noise as you go over bumps. They're very, very easy and cheap to change, but if it's you know, kind of like suspension arms and things like that, that gets to be a bit more expensive. But yes, you know, 0 to 60 less is over 10 seconds in this car. You're not going to go particularly fast in this, and I would, if it were my car, I'd have a higher trim level with like cruise control in it. It's nice this one's got parking sensors, and I would go for a facelifted car just because they're just a little bit better equipped and they look a bit better. Rear legroom is not the car's strongest suit, as we've demonstrated before, but overall, they're just really nice little cars. You can find a good one, and this one really, really needs a good clean. I think it's the 3rd time I've said it. Then you'd probably want to raise and run for a long time, and loads of people do, and I completely understand that. I kind of prefer one of these to a Mark III Focus, to be honest. I don't know why, I just think they drive a little bit better. But, you know, that's really up to you. Let's now look at some Fiesta Mark VII trim levels. And goodness gracious me, there are a lot of them. There are, gosh, over 20 of them, which is mad. I suppose we better start, viewers. Bottom of the range is the Studio and the Style, they're sort of towards the bottom. Then there's the Edge, and then there's a Style Plus. The Metal was a strange one. That was available with a peculiar 1.6 engine that only really was available at elsewhere in the S1600. Then we get the sort of ones that I would prefer, like the Titanium X, and the Titanium Individual. I would like a Titanium X very much, viewers. Then the Centura Special Edition. There was the ST line. The ST line red and black were once again kind of special editions toward the end. Then the Zetec, which is the most popular trim of all. The Zetec black, the Zetec blue, the Zetec white. Then we get onto the Zetec S, which was kind of, I don't know, the sort of sporty one before the sort of ST and ST lines came in, but really sort of things like the Metal and the S1600 were more powerful, so I don't know. Zetec S also had black and red special editions. And then we get on to the ST itself. There are actually 3 trim levels of the ST. The ST2, 3, and then the 200, which came with more power. I think 197 brake horsepower, though it's badged as 200 because that's a PS figure. The Mark VII Fiesta was made in a lot of places. Germany, Spain, Brazil, Mexico, China, Thailand, Vietnam, Taiwan, India, Venezuela, and Russia. This one would have either been made in Germany or Spain. They weren't building Fiestas in this country by then, which is a bit of a shame. But there we go. So viewers, should you consider a Mark VII Ford Fiesta as a sensible second-hand buy? As I said in 2021 when I drove the 1.25 litre version of one of these, yeah, I mean, there are problems with these cars. There's a problem with any car, but they're actually a very, very good second-hand buy, and they will remain so for many years to come. You obviously got to check certain things on these, but yeah, generally I have sourced these for clients before, and they've been very happy with them. So there we go. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more reasonably priced motoring.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Every blue day, every day with blue skies, and on every occasion that you do or don't smile. Every time you dance for joy.